You are 34. There is one number sitting quietly in your savings account, and another number sitting loudly in your brother's driveway. Tyler pulls up in something new again, engine still ticking as it cools, and he does not ask how you are doing. He asks why you still drive that old thing. Nobody warns you about this one, not the tax the government takes, the one everyone around you takes without ever writing a check. Call it the permission tax. Most people pay it every single month for their whole lives and never notice the balance, because it is never measured in dollars. It is measured in what they think they are allowed to want. Stay with this one, because the 10 years between you and Tyler did not go the way either of you expected, and by the end, only one of you is still paying it. You are 24. Saturday morning. A used car lot behind a gas station. The salesman has a gap in his teeth and calls everyone champ. He walks you past the trucks with the lifted suspension, past a black coupe with tinted windows, and stops at a gray sedan with cloth seats and 102,000 miles on it. Nothing about it says anything. You buy it in cash. $9,200, folded in an envelope your father helped you count that morning. You drive it home with the windows down, and the radio only gets one station clearly. That night, Tyler calls. He just leased something German, black on black, $490 a month, nothing down. He asks what you got. You tell him. He laughs so hard you have to hold the phone away from your ear. He says he would rather walk. You sit at your kitchen table after the call and do the math on a napkin. $500 a month, invested instead of spent, for 10 years. You read the number twice. You fold the napkin and put it in a drawer. The car stayed exactly the same that year. The only thing that changed was what you were willing to be laughed at for. You are 26. The sedan has 130,000 miles now, and the passenger door needs a firm shove to latch. Monday morning, the office parking lot. A coworker named Aaron parks his new coupe 2 spots down and grins at you over the roof of your car. "Nice ride," he says. "Did you lose a bet?" You say no, just paid it off. Aaron doesn't hear the second half of that sentence. He's already walking away, talking about his new lease deal to anyone who will listen. If any of this is landing so far, a like actually helps more than people think. It is the only reason this finds someone who needs to hear it, instead of someone who doesn't. That weekend you have lunch with Walter, your father's oldest friend, 30 years in commercial insurance, a man who never gives advice unless it's asked for directly. You mention the sedan almost as an apology. Walter doesn't say good for you. Walter sets down his fork and asks if you know what a car actually is. You say transportation. Walter shakes his head slowly. He says most people aren't buying a car. They're buying permission. Permission to be taken seriously. Permission to stop wondering who they are for 45 minutes on the drive home. He says the sedan is the first time in your life you didn't buy it. You laugh. He doesn't. He tells you that lunch is going to end up being the most expensive one he's ever bought you, and you have no idea yet what he means. The car stayed exactly the same that year. What changed was that you finally had a name for what you weren't buying. You are 28. The sedan is past 160,000 miles, and you've learned the exact angle to turn the key so the engine catches on the first try. Tyler calls to say he upgraded again, an electric SUV this time, matte gray, payment he describes as basically nothing once you count the tax credit. You visit his new apartment that weekend and watch him walk around the SUV, the way men walk around things they're still deciding whether they can afford. His phone buzzes twice while you're standing there. He glances at it and puts it face down without answering either time. At work, a woman from accounting named Diane stops by your desk. "Honey, are you doing okay?" she asks, in a voice reserved for people going through something. "If you ever need a short-term loan, just ask," she says. "We've all had hard years." You tell her you're fine. You do not tell her you have $91,000 sitting in an index fund, because there is no polite way to say that without sounding like you're bragging about a number nobody asked to hear. The car stayed exactly the same that year. What changed was learning to let people feel sorry for you and saying nothing back. You are 29. A Friday evening, a grocery store parking lot, 9 at night. A neighbor named Miss Alvarez loads bags into her SUV 2 spaces down and glances at your car the way people glance at something they feel obligated to comment on. "Is that thing even safe anymore?" she asks, not unkindly. You tell her it runs fine. She says her nephew fixes cars like that for free, just so you know, in case things get tight. You thank her. You are not having a hard year. You have over $100,000 sitting in accounts nobody in that parking lot will ever see, and there is no sentence you can say out loud that explains that, without sounding like you're arguing with someone who was only trying to be kind. You drive home and sit at the kitchen table with the light off. You think about how strange it is that the only two reactions your car ever gets are laughter or pity, and never once anything in between. If any part of this sounds familiar, drop it in the comments. The age, the car, the person in your life who plays Tyler's part. It helps more than you'd think, and it helps this find someone who's sitting in that exact same parking lot tonight. The car stayed exactly the same that year. What changed was noticing that pity costs you more sleep than mockery ever did. You are 30. The check engine light has come on twice and gone off both times on its own, which either means nothing or means everything, and you've stopped trying to guess which. You've been seeing a nurse named Emma for 8 months. She's never once mentioned the car, a friend's wedding in June, an outdoor venue, string quartet, a gravel lot full of luxury SUVs parked at careless angles. You walk in holding Emma's hand past a row of cars that cost more than your first 3 years of rent combined. At the reception, Tyler arrives in something brand new again. Cologne you can smell before you can see him. Phone buzzing inside his jacket that he still won't check in front of anyone. He hugs you and says, "Bro, you have to upgrade. Just once. You'll feel different." You say maybe. In the car on the way home, Emma is quiet, and then she says, "I just want you to enjoy your money, that's all." You don't have an answer for that yet. If you've made it this far, now's a good time to subscribe. New stories like this one land every week, and this is exactly the kind of thing you don't want to scroll past by accident. The car stayed exactly the same that year. What changed was almost losing the argument with yourself at 1 in the morning with a finance app open on your phone. You are 32, 200,000 miles on the odometer, and the heater takes a full block to warm up in winter. A Tuesday in February, 6 in the morning, 12 degrees outside. You turn the key. Nothing. A single click, then silence. You call roadside assistance and sit in the cold until a young guy named Caleb shows up with jumper cables and a coffee in the cup holder of his truck. He looks at your dashboard, then at you. "How long have you had this thing?" he asks. You tell him. 10 years. He stops what he's doing. 10 years? Same car? Yes. He shakes his head, but he's smiling. "My uncle drove the same truck for 22 years, he says. Paid cash for his house with the money he never spent replacing it. People thought he was cheap. He wasn't cheap. He was just already free." The engine catches. Caleb closes the hood, wishes you a good morning, and drives off. You sit there for a full minute before you put it in gear, heater finally starting to breathe warm air onto your hands. On the drive to work, the sun comes up over the highway the same way it has for 200 mornings before this one, and for the first time you notice it instead of just driving through it. That night you open the drawer for the first time in over a year. The napkin is gone, replaced somewhere along the way by real statements you stopped needing to hide. The number in the account reads $241,000. You read it twice, the same way you read the napkin 10 years ago, except this time, nothing about it feels like a secret you have to fold up and put away. You don't put anything back in the drawer. You leave the statement on the counter, where you can see it every morning with your coffee. That weekend, Tyler calls and asks if you can float him $3,000 until his next paycheck. You say yes. You don't ask what it's for. You already have a fairly good idea. The car stayed exactly the same that year. What finally changed was realizing you were never actually behind. You are 34 again, back where this story started. The transmission finally goes on a Friday afternoon, coasting into a parking lot with a grinding sound that turns into a hiss and then nothing at all. The mechanic wipes his hands and tells you honestly, It isn't worth fixing. You sit on a bench outside the shop in the sun, and you are not upset. You open your banking app, $310,000. You look at it for a long time. Walter calls that afternoon, 68 now, fully retired. He heard the old sedan finally died. Your father's proud of you, he says, though he'd never say it to your face like that. You ask if he remembers what he told you at that lunch 10 years ago. Every word, you say. He laughs and repeats it back to you anyway. Most people buy permission, not cars. And you were the first person who actually stopped paying for it. He says you didn't just save money, you bought yourself back. That evening you buy another sedan, 3 years old, low mileage, cash again. Because some decisions you don't need to make twice. Your phone buzzes on the drive home. A text from Tyler. Can we talk? It says. I'm in trouble. You read it twice and tell him to come over. He sits on your couch that night looking 10 years older than he is. $94,000, he says. 3 cards, the lease, a watch he can't remember buying, a payment plan on cologne he doesn't remember agreeing to. You make him coffee and sit across from him in the same kitchen, where a napkin used to live in a drawer. How did you actually do this? He asks, and for once he isn't performing anything for anyone. You think about Walter, chewing slowly across a restaurant table. You think about Caleb, the boy with the jumper cables, who never once made you feel small for asking for help. You think about Emma, waiting quietly for an answer you finally have now. I stopped buying permission, you tell him. He doesn't understand it yet. Most people don't, the first time they hear it. He will, eventually, the same way you did, at a stoplight, or a gas station, or standing in a cold parking lot at 6 in the morning with a stranger who happens to say the right thing at the right time. If a video like this is useful to you, sharing it with someone who's still deciding what kind of car to buy might matter more than you think. It's a small thing that reaches exactly the right person at exactly the right time. You drive Tyler home that night in the new sedan. The heater works immediately. The radio gets every station. You sit in your driveway afterward for 1 full minute before going inside, and you think about everyone who looked at that old car over the years. The mechanic, the coworker, the neighbor, the woman from accounting, Walter, Emma, Tyler. They all saw a car. You were the only one who ever saw the question underneath it. The question was never what you should drive. It was who you were willing to be while everyone else decided for you. Maybe you're the one who's been driving the same car for years and wondering if you made a mistake. Maybe you're the one who's never once had to wonder, because you already know the answer. Either way, the question is sitting in your driveway right now, whether you look at it or not. If you want to see exactly what the permission tax looks like on paper, stay close, because the next one breaks down the real math behind it, dollar for dollar.